The rugged mountains of the Adirondacks are a hostile place, not given easily to taming by man. Throughout the centuries, nature has dominated and man adapted. Against incredible odds, men and women have settled here to carve a living out of the wilderness. This is their story, and the story of the hamlets which they created. While most settlers in the Adirondacks extracted materials from the ground and forests, the citizens of Saranac Lake became famous for marketing that most intangible of commodities, the life-giving qualities of fresh mountain air.
On a cold, wintry morning, the train used to get in at 6 a.m., and the taxi met the train, and you were driven to the sanatorium, which took you up Park Avenue, which on that morning, following a beautiful ice storm, looked like a winter fairyland. And I said, like Brigham Young when he discovered Salt Lake City, this is the place. And I decided then and there I didn't care if I never left, alive or dead.
Throughout the 19th and into the 20th century, one of the leading causes of death in America was a communicable disease known as consumption. Now known as tuberculosis, it primarily affects the lungs in a lengthy, insidious infection, consuming its victims in a slow but steady decline of health. There was no cure. In 1873, when 1 out of every 7 Americans was being killed by the White Plague, Dr. Edward Trudeau, dying of tuberculosis, came to the Adirondacks to spend his last days amid peaceful surroundings. Instead, he found the combination of fresh air, ample rest, and freedom from worry restored his health, and he began to encourage others to follow his form of treatment. Trudeau opened America's first sanatorium for tuberculosis patients on a hillside overlooking the forests of the Saranac River Valley, and he established a research institution which continues today. Funded largely by private donations, the Trudeau Sanatorium became known throughout the world for its success in treating tuberculosis. As the number of patients steadily grew, private homes throughout the village were altered and new buildings constructed to serve as cure cottages. Each cottage had its own open porches where patients spent their days and nights out in the fresh air all year round.
This was heaven, really. It didn't bother me at all. The place was so wonderful. People were so friendly. This was a sharing experience. Everybody else there had tuberculosis. And there were great people there, just some wonderful people. It was very cosmopolitan. There were people from all over the world. And life was very good.
The cottages catered to all interest groups and all cultures. There were houses for Greeks, blacks, Hispanics, for theater people, World War I veterans, even for employees of certain companies such as Endicott Johnson Shoes. TB cut across all classes and all races. In fact, it was most common among the very poor and the very rich. Actresses, gangsters, authors, and shop girls all came to Saranac in search of health. For many, it was their only hope. The process of curing was a slow one, requiring at least a year in bed, and often the treatment took 2 to 4 years or longer.
I think one reason why time went quickly is that the days were so regimented, that the days were like yesterday, tomorrow, every day was the same. When I was in bed, the nurse would bring a basin and your toothbrush and your toothpaste and a glass so that You would perform the morning ablutions, you'd wash your face, you'd brush your teeth, and comb your hair, and you were ready for your breakfast. Then you have about an hour until dinner time, when a big tray of dinner comes. And after your dinner, you settle down, and from 2 until 4 every day was absolute quiet. Nobody did anything. At 4 o'clock, the nurse came around, took temperatures, and brought a glass of milk. And then around 6 o'clock, the supper tray came, which was another large meal. After supper, you kind of settle down and maybe listen to the radio, or maybe somebody who can, get up and get out of bed and be up for a little bit would come and stand at your door or sit on a chair for a few minutes. And this goes on until 8 or 8:30, when she comes around again, takes temperatures, brings you milk, and then makes up your bed for the night.
A large percentage of TB patients were young, aged 18 to 38, and despite the severity of their disease, they brought to Saranac an enthusiasm for life which was sharpened by the ever-present specter of death. When well enough to leave their beds, even for a few hours at a time, they plunged into activities with all the zest of youth. A drug cure for tuberculosis was perfected in the late 1940s. Until then, many who came to Saranac Lake did not survive. But the fresh air of the Adirondack Mountains brought hope and health to many other sufferers, and their struggles with death transformed their lives, as well as the lives of those around them.
To all the people who came and got well, it was a very happy experience in curing. You learn a sense of values. You think about a lot of things that you take for granted. It's an interesting thing that now, when those people are all gone, there's still an imprint left in this village. And they are kind of special things, out of the ordinary things that just don't happen in everyday life. The things that made Saranac Lake unique.